Raw Break family, it's time to talk about AEW Dynamite. Welcome to another episode of our show. And Jean-Paul Eck, we had a World Heavyweight Championship match with Hangman Page going against Lars Archer. Also, Jade Cargill defending the TBS Championship. And CM Punk, the repercussions of what happened with MJF. MJF finally beating the best in the world. So, really, I would say an average Dynamite, not awesome, and also the debut of the Limited's one. So I would say, AEW did a little better this week. What do you think, Paul?
I mean, yeah, that's the one big thing, that the last thing you touched on, and also, the Inner Circle, a lot of segments on this show, so we're going to jump right into it soon. But overall, if I had to give a thumbs up or thumbs down, I have to give this one a thumbs up. Just because, there was some bad, but there was a lot of good on this show. But unfortunately, the way Tony Khan, the way he books his crazy, sporadic booking, and sometimes even the good stuff, it's a little bit ruined at the end. But we'll go into
exactly.
it.
So thank you so very much, Clay, for being with us. Thank you for subscribing. We keep growing, and that's what we want to keep doing. Thank you, because we're almost turned out to be 3 years doing this. 2 years full force. The first year, the first month was actually to getting used to it. But thank you to every single one of you. And the promise, like always, to keep delivering the best content right here in the original Raw Break. And Paul, like you said, show starts with all the members from the Pinnacle. I didn't even know that they are actually still the Pinnacle, because these kind of groups, remember that they disseminated when they had the war with the Inner Circle, but everybody was right there. FTR, Sean Spears, Wardlow, and also Tully Blanchard, and they introduced MJF. This was really cool how he came out, in a way like a king or something like that. I liked it. They
even said on commentary, they're it's he just won the world championship.
Yes.
The World Heavyweight Championship. And then you see him making out with the chicks. I mean, this was great. And the main thing to touch on in the beginning is it just it made Wardlow feel like shit. He didn't even get entrance music or anything. But, MJF, he comes out and he starts cutting a legit heel promo about how he's the best in the world because he beat the best in the world, all this stuff. Yes. And everything you knew and expected him to say, crowd chanting, shut the fuck up. I said to you, eventually, if TBS keeps hearing these, F-bombs dropped on their TV, they might find Tony some couple $1,000s here. So, maybe the crowd should just chant something a little more PG just to help AEW out here. But, this was good. And then, unfortunately, it was CM Punk walked out. You knew MJF wasn't going to hold his heat for long. He didn't even hold it for a week, because here you saw CM Punk came out. And he pretty much challenged MJF, and MJF was like, no, I don't want the rematch, but you want the rematch. But then FTR was like, well, screw you guys. We want the rematch, from when we had the 6-man. And then they're like, well, I don't want the rematch, but they do. But we're here in Atlantic City, so let's gamble. Hey, FTR. And then if any, loser in the back actually wants to team up with you, then you can, have this match. And Sting and Darby
Allin, remember, he also said
he
wanted a rematch with Wardlow. He didn't want the match with MJF. He wanted the match with Wardlow because he said that he was actually gave me the best match, and also he helped you win. He helped you for me to beat you and all of that. So this is bad for me. We have the picture Sting, Darby Allin. I hate that, because why are they involved into this? It should be MJF, should be just CM Punk and somebody else. You need to have other guys. I don't know how you feel about this, but it bothers me that these guys are immersed in storylines that they're not even
the way he was choked out. CM Punk could have sold the neck. I'm having trouble. The breathing's a little bullshit. Give me a couple weeks. Give me till Revolution.
Maybe Revolution.
What did Shawn Michaels say when Shawn Michaels cut that promo? Oh, I'll be ready by, I don't know, SummerSlam. And it's
exactly. I'll be ready by Revolution.
Yeah, you hype it up and everybody gets excited. Instead, boom, you have this, nobody can hold their heat. And, Sting and Darby Allin, they were just out there to just hype up that rematch. But, I am looking forward to the match, but you just know CM Punk's going to beat Wardlow. So, he's going to beat him again.
It is true. It is true, like you said. And then there you go with they had the match. And they say also CM Punk, you need to find partners of your choosing, because these guys, or a partner of your choosing, because these guys are not going to be helping you out. So let's move on, Paul, to Andrade, because this guy, I don't know where he gets the money from. I think Charlotte or Ric Flair, they have a shit ton of money, and that's why he became a boss, he became a powerful figure here in AEW. He's never won even a match on Dynamite, I think. So, but yeah, he actually is he's a guy with power. I don't know how that happened. Maybe I've been missing Dark, or I've been missing the shows that nobody watches. But he says finally he meets Sting. He doesn't even know his name. He doesn't even want to say his name. And then he goes to Darby Allin, hey, I want you to work for me. You know, you will be legit. You will make it even better. He's like, I don't want to. And he says, I have my eyes on the TV or the TNT Championship. He's like, oh, okay, well, you're going to end up working for me because actually I have the same goal as you, and I'll be the next TNT champion. This is also, let's see, two stories, you know, involved with our Darby Allin and Sting at the same time. I don't like this because, again, are you with this or are you with like CM Punk or not? So like, tell me like again, what story should I follow?
And the problem that scares me is I know Andrade was working with MJF and FTR and all that, and I'm like, don't bring Andrade into this CM Punk MJF feud. You know, so far it's been pretty good. You know, a couple things here and there we said, no, you know, you could extend this. You don't have to, you know, do this right away. But overall, it's been good, and we can agree. The match that they had last week was amazing, but it's like, you know, to include Andrade and all this and Sting and Darby Allin, it's such a mess, and I don't care. And also, how is Andrade the #1 contender? That blows my mind too. Like you said,
he hasn't even had a match.
The whole thing is stupid. Okay, just be like Darby Allin's like, I don't work for anybody. Hey, you want to work? You know, let's go in the ring.
Yes,
you know, and
let's have a work here.
Yes. Yeah, like you
exactly.
know,
It doesn't make sense. I don't like this.
Andrade should never be in a promo battle. So.
Oh my god, yeah, in the promo battles, yeah, he'll be like Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly. He'll be as bad as that. You know, and if you don't believe me, ask Megan Fox. There you go. There you go, fam. A little bit of pop culture. Wardlow had a match because he was scheduled to have a match. He said that he doesn't even have time. He came out whipping light even with like the wristbands or anything. He was against the Blade. Sean Spears like, hey, don't be bullshit. Don't be doing any stupid shit. I don't, you know, let your wife handle the business for you because you suck. You don't do anything right. You're just like everybody's lackey. In the end, you know, like he beat the crap out of like the Blade. He did a triple power bomb. He's good, but in the end, Sean Spears also like was like beating up with the chair. He's like, what the fuck did I tell you? Like, so do you see the tension? Wardlow at Revolution, I feel he's going to turn on NJF, and that's going to be the next feud.
Yeah,
that's going to be the next main.
The crowd is so behind. The crowd is so behind Wardlow, and so am I. I thought he should have turned babyface, and I think Cleveland was his hometown, or wherever they were, wherever they were a couple weeks ago. I'm like, that's where he should have turned babyface, but they're saving it. Like I said, for a pay-per-view, some big moment where he's going to screw over MJF. But I mean, he's got to turn on Sean Spears.
Yes,
he's
exactly.
got to. I want to see him just powerbomb him through the ring. If they powerbomb him and the ring posts explode, I don't care. You know, I make it so stupid. I just want to see him beat up Sean Spears.
Oh, well, like that will be the beginning, I think. That's the main, you know. Yes. But, of course, what's the end goal is going to be MJF. They want that. Everybody needs that. Everybody loves that. So that's what I think is going to do. And, I mean, Wardlow is going to be the next big AEW Rowan. They room it like he's going to be the Rowan, like superstar. He said that, like, he's never going to go to WWE. He's going to be AEW for life. We'll see how long that statement lasts. But now let's go to, like, the breakup finally after 3 years of the Inner Circle. You see, like, the JERICHO, Sammy Guevara, HAGER came out all like wearing the same kind of clothing. It's like we haven't seen Santana and Ortiz. We don't know where they are. They come out, and Santana, like you said, legit shoots on JERICHO, saying a lot of things that because of like his shadow, they cannot even challenge for the tag team titles. It's like, we've been here and you've been holding us back. That's the thing. Is like, we actually are the main eventers, but because of you, we never had that spotlight. So good stuff. JERICHO also counterattacked. So I know you like this up to the point, like, for me at least, when he mentioned Eddie Guerrero, because like, why every single Latino has to be related to Eddie Guerrero? We're not all alike.
For me, the Eddie Guerrero, I mean, JERICHO is, you know, he's in his own la la land. You know, he you know, recently compared him. No, I'm not even going to go into that.
The Undertaker.
Yeah, we'll say that we're not going to go into that. But, you know, here he's like, hey, why are you guys being bullshit? It's because of me. You got signed here. You're making more money than you made anywhere else. You know, you're always in the main event because of me. You're getting, you know, the bigger pays, the spotlight, the recognition, everything's because of me. And you want to shit on me? He's like, you had a tag team match a year ago. You didn't win it. You're bullshit. They get in each other's face. Sammy goes to break it up. JERICHO's like, screw you, Sammy. And Sammy cuts a promo, and then he leaves. And at this point, I thought the segment should have ended. When Sammy walked off, Santana and Ortiz should have walked off too. But, you know, then they got a back and forth. Oh, you need to apologize to Ortiz. It's because of him I didn't beat you up. Then they got in each other's face. And essentially it all, you know, back and forth. If you want to see the segment, go to YouTube. I'm sure it's up there. But and essentially it's going to be a tag match, you know, next week. Or is it next week? Or they have a tag.
It's going to be next week. It is going to be next week.
Yeah.
Sammy actually quit, like you said. He said, like, until we're not, you know, these things I figured out are solved, I'm not coming back because I want to
Yeah,
be like the best
and
TNT, the best wrestler. So good for him. Yeah, they
yeah,
need to they needed to do this
and
way,
Santana and Ortiz, yeah, they need to win. They need to win this, and then I think you need to turn Jericho and Hager heel. I mean, I don't know. I
right
mean,
there.
to me, Santana and Ortiz are going to be the badass baby faces, and I think they're going to be the next in line to win the tag belts. I think you got to have a heel beat the Jurassic Express. To me, they're dead flat like the Lucha Bros. I think those tag belts are cursed right now until you put them on a legit team, and maybe that team is Santana and Ortiz.
No, you're right. You're right. Like you said, like they get in each other's faces, and the one thing is like Santana and Ortiz at least have fire. They have passion. They have
That's why I
intensity.
said
Something
that's
that
their
the other
legit
teams
team.
don't.
That's why the belts need to go to them.
Yeah. It's a good
Because
idea.
Jurassic
Like they
Express to
need
me is
to
like a wet fart. They're doing nothing.
Yeah, it's like you said. It's because also like isn't these titles are supposed to be defended on Dynamite, your main show? These titles have nothing to do with like TNT. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they don't. I mean, I'm sorry, with TBS. They need to be featured in the main show because if like they can be featured on Rampage, everybody's gonna think of that. It's just a B tag title. So like, I don't know. I don't like this. Jay White is like the next person to go into the Forbidden Door. You see the Young Bucks that I'm called that were beating up. I think it was Ricky. Who was Job?
It was Rocky Romero and Trent.
Yeah, so they were beating them, and then Jay White shows up. So like another person that, like you said, that goes through the Forbidden Door, but like he didn't say much. That was it. And like you said, the one thing is just like they're actually feuding with jobbers like the Young Bucks. I mean, maybe they're trying to help them out, but again, these feuds have no correlation to the tag titles, and these are all tag teams. So that's the one thing that I would like, that at least the link to see between those two. And like,
this is all for the New Japan marks. I mean, Jay White's legit, but Excalibur was trying to say Roppongi 3K is one of the most legit tag teams in history. And unless you know who they are, if you're like, I have no idea who they are. I mean, I've heard of them, but to me, the most legit tag teams are not the Hardys, they're not the Rock and Roll Express, they're not 3D. The Dudleys. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, they're not. They're not the Road Warriors. No, they're not a legit tag team like that.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you get excited? I mean,
and
Jay
the one
White
thing is also
good,
like Jay White was first on Impact.
Yeah,
and
and to me, the Young Bucks, any segment they're on is just done. So I wasn't into
the way that they carry themselves is like questionable. Is kind of like a little head scratching, just because the way that they're dressed, they're not really like wrestlers. Is like, I don't know if they want to be taken in that matter, like that they're not actually being serious about this. But I mean, Jay White did this thing, and everybody was at least a good surprise. First surprise of the night. Everybody was waiting the next surprise because Tony Khan has announced that like there's going to be more free agents coming out. But he said there's going to be one fighting against Isaiah Cassidy, and it's going to be for that ladder match that they do at Revolution. And hours ago, of course, they spoiled it. Keith Lee, Lucius Lee, he's back, at least in professional wrestling. He deserves an opportunity.
What do you think of the new? What do you think of the new theme song? Do you like it better than the WWE
better
one?
Yeah, and of course, like I said, like,
I mean, it feels badass. I mean, now if he would come out to the ring, and I mean, obviously he's going to smile, big pop. You saw the crowd was going crazy. So, obviously you're going to be smiling, taking that in. But I know if he comes out looking like a badass, I mean, that music's going to hit so good. But, I mean, the match was good. Isaiah Cassidy, perfect opponent, bumped like crazy for Keith Lee. I mean, Keith Lee would sell, but he would sell, and then the third move he wouldn't sell, and then he'd make that big man comeback, and Keith Lee hitting all his signature stuff. He looks great. Congratulations, him and Mia, him getting married. That's badass.
Yes,
but,
yes, exactly. This was on the weekend. Yes.
And then, I mean, the match was going perfect. This was like you're eating a delicious meal. Nothing was wrong with this, in my opinion. Matt Hardy was like, screw you guys, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm thinking now maybe after the squash match, Private Party's going to be like, hey, we need to be legit. We need to, But no, after the match, Keith Lee wins. He's in the face of the Revolution ladder match, legit. Obviously, the ending we all suspected. But then he gets beat up after the match. And I'm like, what is this? And then Jim Ross was like, I'm sure he'll get his comeback. But why? Why couldn't Keith Lee have that moment? But it's not just Keith Lee. That's how just Tony Khan books, because he needs to book everything in an angle. Nothing can just have
everything has a continuation, but sometimes like the continuation is not even needed. No, in this case, let him have his moment.
Isaiah Cassidy, because the crowd is like, who gives a fuck? Who gives a shit about these guys?
Yes. Why is he feuding against Private Party? But I mean, at least he qualified for the casino, for the ladder match, so that's good. I mean, like you said, he should win it. and then he should challenge that Hangman Page or whoever the champion is at Revolution.
Yes.
But that's going to be really good. And like you said, this guy went through like a really, really rough time in the main roster. You know, changed his name, Bearcat, Keith Lee, like the theme song changed, like they covered the tits. You know, unfortunately, he couldn't even show the God. You know, the poor guy could not, be himself. He was like restricted to be somebody they wanted him to be.
And when you saw his facial expression and his body language wrestling on the main roster versus when you saw him here, it was like when you saw him in NXT's heyday versus when you saw him here. It was like he felt so comfortable. Yes. Like you said, in the main roster, it's like he felt like a freshman in high school, like scared, uncomfortable, like this place blows. But no, this was great here, and yeah, he's got to go against Hangman Page.
And don't be surprised that like Mia Yim is next. So Mia Yim is going to follow right there because that AEW women's division,
and that adds a legit veteran to the women's division.
Yeah, Mercedes Martinez, Mia Yim, all the girls from NXT, like and now Serena Deeb, they have Toni Storm maybe soon. At some point Tessa Blanchard, you never know, but like that could be and ended up being one of the greatest divisions in wrestling for the now. That was cool. Sammy Guevara came out, he said some shit, No, but I'm sorry about Sammy. I don't know if it is
the cue card. No, if he said I'm going to be a legit wrestler, the cue card gimmick needs to go away. That needs to go in the trash. You need to burn it and never use it again because you'll never see Stone Cold Steve Austin or Triple H or somebody like that coming out holding a cue card.
Yes, exactly. So Sammy, he tries. I think as a wrestler he's amazing. No one can take that away from me. The matches that he's had with Cody, the matches but the one thing is I don't think that it's so believable because we're not seeing Miro. I don't know where he's at. Maybe he's impregnating Lana. I don't know what's going on. But Miro is just he's away and that TNT.
Well, hopefully, there is always a Joker in that ladder match. Isn't there a surprise?
Yeah.
Miro. That you heard it here first on Rope Break.
Well, hopefully Miro, he needs to come back because, like you said, he carried that championship. He made that championship belt so relevant. That would be amazing to see him back.
Oh, I guess the face of the Revolution is for the main title. Well, maybe he won't win it, but he'll at least be,
or at least something because, like you said, Sammy. It's cool, but I hope Andrade, a heel, needs to hold that championship. I don't want Andrade for the wrestling ability, maybe, but for the promo ability, no, thank you. He deserves to just be on dark because of the promo ability. CM Punk needed to find a partner. He found himself a partner in the face of Jon Moxley. Everybody was going nuts. That's why they do it because they want two big baby faces. But when you see this thing, two baby faces will never lose. It doesn't matter if it is FTR because FTR was always being overseen.
Oh, they could have been going against the Legion of Doom, and they would have won this match.
Yes,
you know what I mean. They could have been going against Bruiser Brody and Stan Hansen, and they would have won this match. Yes. It don't matter who they were going against. They were going to win this. And FTR, they had a great match, and CM Punk's a great wrestler. Obviously, we're not going to take anything away from him. And Moxley was all right in this match because they kept him, under control. They kept him in wrestling.
Yes.
And this wasn't bad, but it just sucks when you see a team like FTR every week, and we know it. Everybody knows that they're one of the best tag teams, if not the best tag team in wrestling, and they lose every single time they're featured in a match that actually means something. So it's why should I care? You know what I mean? Everything was good. The spots were good. They hit the big rig, but no, that wasn't the finish. And eventually, we're not going to go through the match. It was long. If you missed it, find a way to watch it. But CM Punk hit the go to sleep on Tully, and then they thought they were going to get the roll up pin, but no, CM Punk kicked out. Then they both hit their finishers. He pinned Dax 1, 2, 3, and that was the end.
Oh yeah, no, like you said, it's the one thing when again you have a super team.
In this. I think that was Cash.
But you have a super mega team, and unfortunately FTR has never been able. It doesn't matter. Only on NXT maybe. They believe that they were that type of tag team. They carry themselves.
You think with CM Punk already losing, you could add something where MJF comes out and fucks CM Punk and FTR hits a finish and pins him. Do you think a second loss hurts CM Punk, or is it like The Undertaker losing at WrestleMania? It doesn't matter anymore.
No, it doesn't matter because, again, and also, for CM Punk's purposes, he needs to lose a little more. So,
that's what I mean. I feel like it. That's what I mean. He could have got pinned here. Then it could have gotten his psyche. Man, can I actually beat MJF? Yes. Towards the match with MJF.
And that actually translates into a better story. Because it's now is a CM Punk that has doubts. It's a very doubtful CM Punk. Can he beat MJF? is he still the best in the world.
And also Moxley losing, and then we got to move on because we still got a lot of show to cover here. But then Moxley, you know, losing here with CM Punk, maybe he thinks, man, this old guy's bullshit. Maybe what Bryan Danielson said was right. Maybe I should team up with him. Because what happened to that story? Isn't he? You know, there's no mention of that.
Exactly. You know, and you're absolutely right. But that's what we have on the show, and unfortunately, FTR once again, you know, they've been dropped out to like guys that have more name value, not more wrestling ability. They're not more skillful, but they're more name value. Jade Cargill, she was supposed to defend this TBS championship going against a girl that like actually was trained by Booker T, AQA. So like actually, this girl had a lot of offense on Jade. I don't know why. You can tell me your opinion of it, but she had a lot of great offense, even like
she's really innovative. I mean, obviously in this match, and Jade is so legit. If Jade would have got like trained for like a year, like legit, and debuted, she would have been the biggest woman in wrestling. I mean, she might be the biggest, you know, height wise, but I mean, she'd be the best thing ever. Britt Baker, Charlotte Flair, you know, none of them would matter. Ronda Rousey, who? No, it would be Jade because she has the size, she has the look. But AQA wasn't bad for the, you know, the small underdog baby face in this. You know, I love, you know, when she came in and she did the drop kick counter and sent Jade to the outside. She didn't hit it strong enough, and Jade like kind of oversold for it a little bit. But I mean, it was still a cool move and everything. But yeah, it went a little bit longer. It went a little bit longer than I thought, and the whole time, you know, I kept texting you as well. I'm like, what's this main event? Is the main event going to be 20 minutes? Is it going to be 5 minutes? What is this? What's going on here? Why is this taking so long? But eventually, you know, Jade got the win. What is she, 20-0?
Yes.
Yeah, 20-0, and you know, obviously she's dominant. You're going to build that up to a really credible opponent. And I mean, I would love for it to be Ruby Soho, but I don't know. I feel like almost that ship has sailed for her here as well. Like, you know, she's every time you see her, you go, you know, especially with losing to Nyla Rose, like where she.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's gonna be Ruby anymore. Maybe like I said, a Mia Yim. You need somebody fresh. Mia Yim could be a candidate right there. Maybe a Toni Storm at some point.
They'll give it to Brandy.
Oh, if they do that, you know, like Tony Khan will be, that will be one of the things, if he is considered the best booker in the business, he understands that idea. They will never do that.
Oh yeah, that's when Meltzer will be like, you know what, okay.
That will be the time for retire that championship. You know, like, okay, all the legitimacy, all the legitimacy, credibility, everything that like Jade Cargill is doing right now, completely, you throw it in the toilet and you flush it twice because sometimes the water pressure is not good enough. You gotta flush it twice, make sure that like, you know, you don't see any nuggets going around it.
No, you gotta make sure it's down in there.
Yes, exactly. So a little nuggets right here. You know, oh dude, like, oh, well, why didn't you tell us about Jay White? He doesn't get along with Kenny Omega. So you know. So this is like you said, Adam Cole needs to just be separated from the Young Bucks. Needs to be going and be his own self, like the way that he was on NXT. He needs to be paired up with all the members of the Undisputed Era, but they need to be their own entity because this friendship and everything is actually hurting him bad. There's so much people. There's so many fans or like critics.
What was this whole?
They don't like
when he was said, "Oh, you know, I'm going to show you guys next week. I'm going to be legit." And okay, you know, we saw what happened in the main event, but why are you included in all this other bullshit?
Yes,
he shouldn't. He shouldn't have been in any segment tonight besides, you know, spoiler, the main event.
Yes,
he shouldn't have been in anything. You shouldn't have saw anything from it. Seeing him in all these other segments, it made me go, man, this guy's a loser. Then we see him in the main event, it's like, oh, there's the loser.
Yes, exactly. So, like, that's what I mean. That's the one thing that, like, they need to understand. So, unfortunately, Adam Cole is mixing all of this stuff. Let's go with the professor. Let's go with the teacher, Serena Deeb. You know, like, she actually said that she's going to beat this enhancement talent in less than 5 minutes. She did that. You know, the girl is having a great, great run. I love what Serena Deeb is doing right now. Just because she's doing what she does best, being a professional wrestler and cashing into being that. I love this. You know, either you go the submission hole and she, of course, taps out. This is amazing, and hopefully Hikaru Shida in the next couple of months, because, see, this is at least to me boiled until Revolution. Like, this will be a great match. This is like a storyline that, like, without even the title, is for me so interesting, and it's going to be a great blow-off. Serena Deeb is doing just an amazing work, and hopefully she continues this run as a heel.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see, and again, it's a shame that she can't be a champion, or she can't, you know, win. You know, Tony Khan, I feel he always loves to put the babyface over in the end. So if he does do another match with Shida, she is probably going to win. But I would love to just see, you Serena Deeb win a championship and have a legit run. Just, that would be one where it's like you deserve it, or something where it's like you deserve to be a champion and have a long run because you're badass. You train so many people, and I don't know if she's ever had a recognized run. I'm sure on the indies a long run with independent promotions. But, she could be recognized as a champion, on TV, I think.
Yes, exactly. So it will be better, but we'll see. We'll see what they keep doing with her. But so far, it's actually working. It's doing a great job.
And I'm glad it was less than 5 minutes so we could get to the main event.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, let's go just really quick. The matches that nobody ever watches is Rampage and BERETTA and Rocky Romero. Remember what happened with Jay White? Probably Jay White is going to show up one more time against the Young Bucks. Nobody really cares.
Yeah, exactly.
Danielson is going to speak up. This is going to be at least interesting because we're going to see the path. What's next for Bryan Danielson? He's going to be inducted into the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame poll. Well deserved. He's one of the guys that completely sells professional wrestling for what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Really excited about that. So everybody that loves him, there you go, Hook. That's the future of professional wrestling.
See, that's the Hook. That's their. I think they named him Hook so he could be their Hook.
Yes.
For Rampage. No, that was obviously his name.
They're booking him they're booking him like Taz, they said, or like a machine. He's never going to lose. I mean, the guy's doing great. I mean, he was already there was a video of him at a strip club. So there you go. He's actually already living the life of a professional wrestler. Good for him. And Dr. Britt Baker going against Robin, the Renegade. I mean, this is we're going to see this. I don't even know why Britt Baker will do this kind of things. I would much rather see her on Dynamite. But there you go. That's why sometimes Rampage.
Yeah, they're really trying to get people to watch this show. But if you want to be, put all your money on the table, schedule it at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Say, okay, people, are you going to watch an hour of SmackDown and really enjoy it? Or are you going to switch now to our show?
Yeah.
Maybe
it will be better if it will be on a different day, at least for me, because again, 4
because,
hours of wrestling can be a little bit tiring.
And also, again, 10 o'clock. That's late for a lot of people.
And that's what I mean. Especially after 2 hours of SmackDown, because SmackDown song can be that bad that you don't even want to watch anymore. So maybe that's what it is. There's going to be a tag team championship match. The bar. Billy Gunn's kids, they're going to go against Jurassic Express. This is like you said, I'm not really sold into this. Again, why is this championship being defended on Rampage? They should be part of the regular.
Also, all these matches are going to be on a show that's an hour long, so none of them are going to be any good.
Yeah, and they go quick. They're being taped as we speak. So also we're going to see then on Dynamite. See, at least it's going to be no disqualification. Mercedes Martinez against Thunder Rosa. This is going to be good. But you said it a few minutes ago. Tony Khan likes to put the babyface over, so Thunder Rosa probably is going to get that win. Mercedes Martinez, any promotion that she goes,
because and then it's all hooked in. Mercedes Martinez, and she was hired and brought here by Britt Baker, so obviously by Thunder Rosa beating her, then it can be now I go after Britt Baker, which I hopefully Thunder after this, the next big match is at Revolution, Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, and Thunder Rosa wins. No offense to Britt Baker, but put it on a babyface so a Serena Deeb can go after her.
Yes.
So a Jade can be, I want to be dual champion. Fuck it. I want both belts, so she can go after her. You can do so much with a babyface champion that we haven't seen because both.
And you have a story with Jade and also with Thunder. So
I mean there is good stuff. So hopefully she wins it. No offense to the Doctor, I love Britt Baker, but.
And it's time, it's been already a few months. She's got a long reign, but has she had a meaningful feud yet? No.
Because the only meaningful feud is Thunder Rosa because she's the only legit babyface.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean. So it needs to happen. So let's go to the main event poll. Hangman Page against Lance Archer for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship and a Texas Deathmatch. There was a lot of blood. There was a lot of good spots. I would say a pretty good match. Kind of putting in consideration the timing of it. So they had 15 minutes or even less than that. But they beat each other up. There was no even introduction. There was nothing of that. They just went right at it.
Yeah, they were fighting in the back, and early on, he got sent through I'm sure it was gimmick glass, but he got sent through glass. Archer did, and they fight to the ring, and pretty early on as well. What's his name? Dan Lambert. He took down the top rope.
The third rope.
Yeah, the top rope. So Hangman couldn't do his buckshot lariat. So that was smart. I mean, it's no DQ, so that he can do what he wants. So that was a smart move there. But obviously, there was really going to be nobody hitting their finish in this. They were just going to be beating the hell out of each other. And I mean, that's what they did. And I don't know what you thought of when Hangman had the kendo stick and he was whacking him on the head. I'm like, okay, the guy just came back from neck surgery. Maybe hit him like in the back or something.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, he whacked him right on the head, and then, you know, he pretty much Archer picked him up and just power bombed him right on the trash can, you know, pretty hard. I'm like, yeah, well, at least that was a good receipt. And then Hangman got sent to the outside. You know, Archer does a big dive, you know, a dive on him off the apron. I mean, there was lots of brutal stuff in this match. You
Look
know
how bloody they are.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. And then Jake gets involved. Jake hits the short arm clothesline, and then he picks him up for the DDT, but Archer stops him, and Jake's like, hey, what the hell? And I'm like, okay, but he stopped him for a shoot, because if Jake hit it, I don't think Jake was going to get back up.
No, yeah, but I mean, like you said, an extremely
great match. Good stuff. And
count of 10, Hangman Page is able to go up. He retains the championship. Did we think otherwise? No, because he has to go and defend at Revolution. At least this match is making him remember, or at least it was a reminder that Hangman Page is the champion. Because otherwise, I feel that the biggest story that they have is MJF and CM Punk. And the title is just, you know, a prop. And it shouldn't feel that way. But with this, Hangman Page is like throwing the statement right there. Like, hey,
the only thing why none of this feels legit is this was... they should have had one match where it should have been a fuck finish. Jake maybe gets involved or something. Then they maybe have a second match and, you know, Hangman wins or something happens. And then you do a Texas death match. It shouldn't have been the first match, and it shouldn't have been booked after a couple weeks. So it felt anticlimactic, but then they're booking to this, you know, the number one contender, because the Orange Cassidy match didn't count because it was unsanctioned. Adam Cole comes out, and that's going to be the next big feud. But I mean, you look at this looks like a little fan coming up to him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry, like, come on. I mean, even in a bloody state, I would take Page in a fight right now, you know, against him. Like, for a shoot. Like, Adam Cole is the number one contender,
so I guess it's going to be Revolution time. Yeah, I think it's going to be these two. They're going to meet at Revolution there.
Yeah, I mean, the match is going to be legit. I'm going to look forward to it, but I don't know how WWE was able to hide that. And then when you see it here on AEW, it's just so noticeable.
Maybe it's because the camera shots, you know, they really are different. The angles are like completely like, you know, from more afar. Whereas like, you know, in NXT, maybe they have the camera in a type of an angle that you wouldn't see that's high difference, that accentuated.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's what we're going to see. I mean, unfortunately, like you said, because at that point you can see it's not that believable, but at least I know the match is going to be good.
And also, I mean, if Adam Cole was just killing everybody and just having great promos, and it was just him and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, which we haven't seen in how long, you know, are they doing anything legit? No, probably not. Probably wrestling on YouTube. But, you know, if that's what we would have saw from the beginning, I would be looking forward to this. If they would have came out with him like in NXT, you know, me and my boys, but I'm the number one contender.
Yes, exactly.
It felt flat. I mean, I'm looking forward to the match, but like I said, they rush everything. Everything feels so rushed. Sometimes
in this kind of like feuds and everything, I mean, they keep getting more names. So yeah, the booking is gonna get more difficult. But family, this is the show that we have for you for AEW Dynamite. Thank you so very much to every single one of you for the subscriptions, for the comments, also for like following us in all the social media. Paul's gonna remind you about all of them. Don't forget tomorrow NXT UK, another great show that we do. That's probably our favorite show to do. You know, don't forget, stick with us for that. And you know, where can they find us then, Paul?
And then guys, so you make sure you don't miss any of our updates. Follow us for Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok. And of course, right here on YouTube, the home of the number one podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
And you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...